Candidate 2 got rejected. Why do you think so this can happen? Both know the Java, same thing. Communication skills, technical skills. What else, guys? Come on, answer this. What can be the difference between both? Why candidate 1 got selected and why candidate 2 is rejected? Anyone? Neha, Chandu, Ramasiri, Bhairavi, Badal Kumar. Ping in your answers. Okay, fine. Don't worry if you don't know the answer or if you are feeling, don't worry about anything. So the main reason when it comes to differentiate between two candidates, even though they have the same programming knowledge about with respect to the programming language, let's say Java, the major part is about logic, right? Logic is the main thing. Okay. So whatever we are going to discuss today, everything will be around this particular concept, this logic itself. Okay. So the logic is the main thing which we need to build and have when we are trying to solve any DSA question, data structures question, right? So I'll quickly give you one small, very simple example. I need your answers, guys. I need your response from everyone. Okay. So let's say we have five different numbers. Uh, let's say we have five numbers, calling it 4, 9, 2, 1, and also 6. Out of these five numbers, which number is largest? What is the largest number, guys? 9. Okay. Any other answers, anyone? I hope obviously it will be 9. But yeah, I wanted to see your responses. Great. 9 is correct. Of course, 9 is the answer. 9 is the largest one that we know as part of this particular five numbers. Now, how you got to this answer? Can anyone say me how you decided 9 is the answer? Great, Rohit, Kalyan, Suresh. Great, 9 is the answer. Absolutely. Can someone, not someone, can everyone type in how or how did you identify this 9? Yes, 9 is the largest number. What math or what thinking you had behind in your mind so that it came out as 9 as the answer? Compare the number by comparing of all the numbers. Absolutely correct. Next, checking one by one or compare all the elements. Okay. 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 Few people are saying compare all numbers, checking one by one and or comparing all the elements. Okay. What else is? Only comparing the numbers and comparing all the numbers. You need to compare all the numbers, which means loops kind of, right? Okay. Let me also write down this loops. Okay. What else we have? Compare all the numbers, obviously. Yes. Great. Obviously, we need to compare the numbers. Now, as we have just five numbers, we are able to compare, do the things. What if we have 5 million numbers? How will you find the largest? Right now, I have very simple list, five numbers, 4, 9, 2, 1, 6. So we figured out that 9 is the largest number. Obviously, we compared all the numbers, right? If I have 5 million numbers, let's say, how will you find out the answer? Come on, I need response from you people. Okay, using function. Okay. What else? Based on the length of the elements to range. Okay. Okay. So if I have 5 million numbers, we can sort the list Okay, so basically someone saying that compare the numbers, obviously compare all numbers from 0 to n. Let's say n is a 5 million. This is one of the thing that you said. Some people are saying that sort the list and n index is largest number. Absolutely correct. Exactly. Ali Patel, it's correct. Suresh, it's correct. Compare all the numbers. Yes, this is correct. Absolutely. Now, when you like right now, if you see that we have two different approaches for the same thing. If you see that, I am my end goal was same to find the largest number, right? But I have two ways: comparing all the numbers from 0 to n, and second thing is sorting the list. I hope you already know about sorting. What is sorting, guys? By the way, what does sort mean? Sort means okay. I hope you know that arranging the elements to a given order. Exactly. Others, please feel free to answer this. Sorting means ascending, descending order arrangements. Exactly correct, Pyravi. I hope everyone know what the sorting means, right? Arranging the elements in an increasing or a decreasing fashion is called sorting, as you all know, right? So when I talked about 5 million numbers, we have two different approaches: comparing all the numbers and sort and find the last index, right? Out of these two, what is the fastest one? Can anyone say? What can be the fastest one? What can be the fastest one? Approach one or two? Type in your answer. One, two. Just two options we have, nothing else. Max. Okay, we have a function. Suresh, this is a yes, we have a max function which we can use. But if you see that internally, it also has some logic. Okay, Sahiteja says sorting. Sanjana also says sorting. Suresh says compare all the numbers from 0 to n. Okay, what about others? Uh, Sultan, Subhashini, Vidyadhari, Ramasiri, Purnima. Try to answer this. So, which one will be the fastest guess? One or two? So, comparing all the numbers and sorting the list. These are the two options that we have. And when you think of how you will decide the fastest, as few people said one and few people said two, how you know that one is fast and how you know that two is fast? On what basis? Okay, Purnima also says sorting. Okay, great. How? How you know this is fast? How one is fast? Time complexity. Correct. Time complexity. Is this the only aspect that we need to check when we say the fastness, or do we have anything else? So when we are basically talking about fast speed of an algorithm or an approach, it's always time complexity. Okay, if you are talking about fastness, time complexity is the main thing. Don't worry, what is time complexity? Simple. How much time taken to solve a problem in very, very, very simple terms. Okay. So we'll see in depth about the time complexity and all the stuff. Great. All the answers are great. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, let me just write this down. Now, let's say, let's say that uh, I ask you to search for a word in dictionary. If I ask you to search for a word in dictionary, let's say word is proactive, how you will search? Very simple, guys. I'm not talking even a high level things, very basic things which we might have been done from the childhood itself. So let's say I'm asking Sanjana, Neha, Suresh, all these people to search for a single word, which is proactive word in a dictionary. How will you people search? What will you do? Alphabet order of word. Okay. What about others? You say, what about others, guys? I think most of the people thinking, I never use dictionary. Instead, I simply go to ChatGPT, right? But yeah, I hope you might have already used dictionary. If not, that is fine. But I think you have a basic idea about the dictionary. So how will you search for this, guys? As we have an answer, alphabetical order, you will search. Okay. Dict will have you. Okay. Fine. I know this is dictionary is kind of confusing word for you people. I'm talking about very basic English dictionary, not about Python dict. What if it is an English dictionary? How will you search? Suresh, your answer is absolutely fine. Absolutely correct. But yeah, with respect to this question, if you were searching in an English dictionary for a proactive word, how will you do? How will you search for it? One answer is alphabetical order. And any other answers, guys? Obviously, this is the one thing that you'll do, right? This is the first thing we will do. As what is the first letter of proactive? It is P. So in your dictionary, there might be many words. You will it which are starting from A, which can go till Z. Instead of going to all pages, you will directly jump into P, page P, and you will see for proactive. Right. This is what general people, everyone do. Right. They'll directly jump into letter P in your dictionary, and they will see word called proactive, and they'll simply read the definition and they'll move on. This is the general way. So my question was, why don't we go page by page? Why don't we go page by page in a dictionary? Why we need to? Why are you directly jumping into P? Why? Takes long time. Takes time. Correct, Subhashni. Others, come on, guys. This is, as I said, you need to interact with me. What about others? Purnima, Rohit, Suresh, Talib, Vidyadhari, Nagendra, Kalyan. Answer this. As we are searching for a word, we jumped into that letter and searched for proactive P. My question is why we don't go page by page, page one, page two, page three, like that. Why? What can be the reason? Takes time, takes long time. Absolutely correct, guys. That is the exact reason. So it takes time, effort for us to go page by page. Right? This is what optimization means. It's just that we don't know the technical term, but here what we are doing is optimization. If you see this one, if you see this process of searching for a word in dictionary, this is what optimization means. Instead of going each page, you directly jumped into P, letter P, and identified the meaning of proactive. Simple thing. So this is the general thing that we do in everyday life, optimizing the things, right? So as I'm going back to the question that I have asked, why do companies ask DSA questions or coding questions? This is the reason. Okay, to optimize, and also to identify the fastest and resource less resource consuming solutions. That is why they keep this round. DSA or coding questions, whatever you wanted to call DSA, let's call it as DSA, right? So this is the reason, guys. They wanted to identify how what is your capability to solve a particular problem with using less number of resources in less time. When I say less time, I'm not talking about the time taken by the student or a person to solve the question. Instead, time taken by the solution that you have given, right? So, largely, there are two things, very basic things. One is time taken by your solution. This is the first one thing. And second thing is resources consumed should be less. So, these are the two things companies will be looking in when they take the coding route or the DSA. These are the only two things, guys, nothing else. They don't even see your line by line approach code. They only want these two things, time and also resources consumed. I hope this is clear to everyone, right? Okay, great. Now, moving on to the next one. So, when it comes to solving a question, I have very simple question to everyone. So, let's say I give you a problem. Okay, let's say, let me write that down. Okay, 1 second. Okay, there is a problem. I'll not even write any problem. Guys, don't even worry. Okay, we have a problem one. So, whenever you see this problem one, okay, what is the first thing as a student or as a working professional? What is the first thing that you do whenever you see a problem? What is the first thing that you do, guys? Type in your answers. What is the first thing that you do whenever you see a question or a problem? Feel free to give your answers. Neha, Nagendra, Kalyan, Guru, everyone understand it. Okay, statement what they want. Read and understand the problem statement. Trying to analyze. Okay, great. What about others? Nikhil, Purnima, and all. Nikhil, Purnima, Bhairavi, Chinnababu, Guru, Kalyan. Feel free to give your responses here in the chat. Sai Bhargav, first we understand problem. Exactly, Akash, correct. Others, I hope your answers are also similar to this, the answers that we got. That's why you're not responding. Understand and how many ways to do that problem. Okay, great. What about others? Great. I think we got enough responses. Absolutely, guys. Whatever that you're saying is absolutely true. Whenever you see a problem, most of the people, not most of the people, who the beginners or the initial people, what they do is whenever they see the problem, what they do is they simply write code. What they'll do is they simply start writing code. This is what everyone do whenever they are seeing the problem. I hope you also did the same thing when you started DSA. Whenever you saw the problem, you simply started, okay, this is the question. We need to find out the maximum number out of the given list of numbers. Okay, let me start writing the code. Int A, int B, int max, all those stuff you will write. This is the beginner level mistake everyone do, guys. Never, you should not start writing code immediately. Sorry. So whenever you are solving a problem or whenever you are thinking, basically whenever you are going trying to solve a DSA question, the first thing that you need to do is the first thing that we need to do is understand. The first most thing is understand what you will understand. Understand the problem statement. Understand the problem statement. In simple terms, the question. In a very simple term, the question. You need to understand the question, the problem statement, what is being asked, right? Let's say if they are asking us to find out maximum numbers, we need to understand, okay, is it out of the array or is it from the list? Where exactly we need to find all those things we need to understand, right? This is the first most thing that we need to get. And second thing that we need to do is after finding understanding the problem, we need to observe. What we need to observe? Input and output of the input and output. We need to observe the input and output given for the problem statement. When I say input and output, you might be wondering how will they give input and output? Those are called as sample test cases. Sample test cases. In simple terms, examples. Examples given. So even if when you are studying your in your college, for everything you will have an example, right? So the same thing. For the question also, for the problem statement also, they'll be having input and outputs. And those are called as test cases, sample test cases when it comes to DSS terminology, right? So we need to observe input and output, and we need to identify the patterns, patterns in it. This is the second thing that we need to do. We are yet to write code. We are just going through step by step. We need to understand the first step is to understand the problem. Second step is to observe the input and output. Okay. Now, after you observe the input and output, what is the next thing that we need to do? We need to write the brute force. Sorry. So the next step is to write your brute force solution. So when I say brute force, you might be thinking, what is this term brute force? Nothing. The simplest way to solve the problem. You need to find the simplest way. When I say simplest, it doesn't mean you need to find out the optimized, fast, less resource consuming, not related to that. The very basic way you can solve the problem, that is what you need to find out. The brute force approach, we call it as a brute force approach, right? So once after finding that brute force approach, what you need to do is you need to find bottlenecks. Bottlenecks. So when I say bottlenecks, you need to understand that what is time consuming in my approach. Okay. So as you know that we have identified the basic way to find solve this particular problem. Now we need to understand from that problem, from that particular approach, what is time consuming? Are we iterating many times? Are we iterating many times? Or are we doing unnecessary sorting? So all those things, whatever the time consuming thing that has been there, we need to understand that. We need to find out that bottleneck. That is the next step, guys. Right. And next most thing is after finding the bottleneck, the next most thing is you need to optimize it. Basically, the bottleneck that you have identified, you need to come out of that particular bottleneck. If you're basically sorting it without any reason, you need to remove that part, which is not required, right? Obviously. So let's say if you are basically traveling between two locations, okay. So there is a route which takes more time, let's say 18 to 20 kilometers, which is not the optimal one. Okay. Let's say there are two roads. One is 10 kilometers, second one is 25 or let's say 18 kilometers. Which one you choose out of these two routes? Obviously, everyone will choose route one, which takes less time, 10 kilometers, right? So I might not know 10 kilometers is the shortest one directly. I might identify 18 kilometers first. From that, I will understand, okay, if I go in this lane, it is a shortcut which will reduce the time. So that is what we do in optimizing. After identifying the bottleneck, basically the unnecessary part of my algorithm or approach or brute force logic, we need to optimize. Optimize in the sense remove or improve the approach, right? So this is the fifth step that we need to do. After doing this, what we will be doing? Will we be writing code? Is writing code is the next step? Can anyone can anyone say that is code writing code is the next step after optimizing the solution? Subhashini, Suresh, Saiteja, Rohit, feel free to answer this. Do we directly write code after optimizing? Do we do that? Yes. Okay. Saiteja is saying yes. What about others? What about others, guys? Do we write code? No, we don't write code after optimizing. There is one more step you need to do, making logic. Yes, making logic. Obviously, that is the part that we do in these two steps, Rohit. We will, the step number 3 to 5, it covers all the logic part. We identify the brute force solution, and from that, we identify the time consuming part, and that will be optimized in step 5. 3, 4, 5. This is the place where we do logic. The next step is you need to dry run. When I say dry run, very simple. You take pen, paper, and an example and test your code. Test your code. So this is the next step. We immediately don't write the code because we are yet to prove that our solution will work. So if you see from step 1 to step 5, all these are our assumptions. We understood and we figured out, okay, this is how it is and we need to do this one. But we never verified, or we have never, what do you say, tested with a real input. So that is one thing we need to do. This is one of the important step, because this will make you understand how your logic will work in the real data, on the real data, right? So we need to use pen, paper, or whatever you wanted to. You can even do in your laptops and all. So we need to take an example, and you need to not test your code, but test your logic. Hmm. I'm sorry for that. So this is the next step. You need to do the dry run. And once after this is done, now you will write your code. This is the place where you will write your actual code. It's not before this. You need to understand the problem. You need to observe the pattern, input, output, all those stuff. And then you need to identify a very basic way of solving the question and figure out the bottleneck, optimize that by reducing the loops or reducing the unnecessary sorting logic or anything unnecessary part that we are doing. And then you do a dry run, which will ensure the logic that we are thinking will work on the real data, right? Once all these things are perfect and everything looks good, we need to write code. Okay, we need to write our code. And you might be thinking, which language? It can be anything, it doesn't matter, right? Python, Java, C++, etc., any programming language. This doesn't matter, because when I say code, this is just an interactive thing between me and my computer. It doesn't do much, right? At the end of the day, I need to know all the first 6 steps. If I don't know first 6 steps, even though I know the programming language, Python, Java, C++, it doesn't matter. There is no use of it. So writing code is the easiest part, I would say. The difficult part for you is the first six steps: understanding the problem, observing the patterns, finding the brute force solution, optimizing it, and doing a dry run out of this. So these 6 steps are the important things, guys. Don't even worry about code and which language. Language is just a communication thing, doesn't affect anything, right? So this is basically the first 7 steps, whatever that we are seeing here on the screen. This is the same pattern which we will be following to solve any kind of question. You take a tree, you take a graph, or you take anything, any data structure, the same approach applies. And with the same approach, you can always solve the question. I hope this is clear to everyone. If you want to ask any questions or if you have anything to discuss on this, please feel free to unmute yourself or try to ping your questions in the chat. If you don't have anything, I'll move to the next thing.
Is brute force is known as algorithm or it is different?
Yes, you can call it as an algorithm, but brute force is not algorithm. Algorithm is separate thing. Basically, algorithm is nothing but it is kind of a process flow to solve a problem. And brute force is a very basic way of solving the problem. So they are not same. I hope this answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Great. Assuming that everyone is clear about what we are discussing here, the 7 steps, 7 step theory to solve any problem. You take the 7 steps, you can solve any question. I can guarantee on that particular thing. Yes. Okay, great. Now let's move on to the next part. So as you have, I think, I hope you had, like, now you might have understood what is the way that we will be training you or teaching you all those things. Now let's start the or move on to the next step where we will be seeing the contents that will be delivered as part of the training session to all of you people. Okay, let me quickly share my screen. One second. Okay, one second, guys. Uh, okay. So I don't want to go in a traditional way of showing you a PDF and reading out it and saying, okay, these are all the things that we'll be going through. So there are basically four key things that we have, guys. One is the foundation, and second thing is the core DSA. Third thing is advanced DSA, and the last fourth one is interview ready. So these are the four things, four stages or four steps you can think, right? So one is the foundations. So as you know that foundation is an important thing for any particular training course or any building or anything, whatever you take, foundation should be strong. So as even for the data structures, we need to have strong foundation. So when I say foundation, you need to understand and you need to think how you can solve the question. And you need to also learn and understand the time complexity, space complexity, and all those basic things, right? That is what we will be covering as part of this particular foundation thing, right? Now, when we move on to the second thing, that is core DSA. So this is where we will be starting with arrays, stacks, queue, list, basically linked list, right? And also set. So we have these five things, right? All these five things are not types of data, not types of anything, right? These are just different ways of storing your data. That's all, guys. These are nothing but like they are not anything. These are just the different ways you can store your data. That's all. We can store it in an array. We can store our data in a stack in a different way. That's all. Nothing much we will be having. So we will be learning and going through all these things, arrays, stacks, queue, linked list, set, and all. And after this core DSA has been covered, we will go to the next part, that is advanced DSA. And this is the place where most of the people will quit learning DSA, right? Because this is where all the main logical and your technical abilities should come into picture. So as part of advanced data structures, we will be covering graph, trees, dynamic programming, greedy approach, and tries, recursion, backtracking, many things. If I list advanced DSA, can go to next level also. So these are the things, guys. Graphs, trees, dynamic programming. If you take all the first three things, these three are the core concept, the main things that are required for a topmost MNC. They will not look into the first step that we have discussed here. If you see the first thing that we are seeing here, core DSA, arrays, tags, queues, they'll take this also. But the major part, the important thing for MNC product based companies is the graphs, trees, dynamic programming, greedy technique, backtracking. These are the things. Okay, so this is the advanced DSA thing. Next, we will be going to the interview ready. So you might be thinking, what is interview ready? I already learned first three things. I know core DSA, advanced DSA, I have my foundation ready. What is this? So learning the first three things is not enough. It's just the 50%. The first three things is just 50% of your interview readiness, guys. Because the next 50% comes here. So, as part of interview ready, what we will be doing is we will be seeing lead code interview questions, hack, hacker rank questions, okay, company specific questions, company specific questions. And next thing is mock coding session, mock interviews, right? So first thing is lead code questions which are related to interview. We will see hacker rank and company specific questions. When I say company specific questions, guys, we will be going through the previous papers, previous company specific questions of the MNC companies that we have. Let's say Google, Microsoft, Oracle, all those topmost MNC companies and their company specific questions we will be going through, right? And next thing is mock coding sessions. We will also have mock coding sessions, and also we will be having mock interviews. Mock interviews for you to prepare for your interviews, basically, right? And we will also have common interview patterns. Common interview patterns, guys. When I say common interview patterns, you might be wondering, what is this? There is a common pattern or common set of questions which are there across the companies. So even we will also pinpoint, learn those particular patterns, right? So this is the major thing, the 50%, remaining 50% you can call. So we'll be seeing all those things. And you might be thinking, only lead code and hackering. No, we are not limited to that. We have many coding platforms, but the major coding platforms where most of the things are covered is lead code and hacker rank. We also have hackereth, interview bit, many things like this, right? But yeah, we'll also see them, we'll also solve the questions from them, all those stuff. But yeah, to begin with, these are the things that we will be learning as part of interview ready. Whatever I have said here, this is a overview, guys. We have many more things also. The detailed syllabus copy, I hope you have already received it. If not, we will share it with you people. Our team will be sharing it with you. So if you take an overview of the course, entire course curriculum that we had, this is how it looks like. We'll be starting with the foundation of data structures where we learn about time complexity, space complexity, the importance of both, how they're correlated, and what is the precedence one. Should my algorithm always be like the time complexity should be great or space should be great? Those particular aspects we'll be seeing. And next thing will be core DSA, where we will be seeing arrays, stacks, queues, linked list, set, all those things. Right. Next thing is advanced DSA. So this is the third step and important thing, guys. Never, don't even think that these are difficult. Once we go through the first and second steps of our course, you will easily solve this. You will easily crack these things because our logic was same, our skills will be same, our pattern of solving the problems will also be same. So you will never feel difficulty about a question. It's just that you need to follow this. You need to follow the 7 step rule that we are discussing. And this is the same thing I will be following throughout the course. Don't even worry about it. Right. And once the advanced data structures has been completed, advanced DSA, all things are done, we will be starting with interview readiness. We will be solving lead code questions, hacker rank questions, company specific questions, and also mock coding sessions will also be there, and interviews, mock interviews with not just with our team. We'll also have few other people from other MNCs will also be taking your mock interviews. So that will also be provided. And next thing and important thing is interview patterns, the common interview patterns across the companies that I was talking about. So this will be the next thing and important thing that we'll also be covering. I hope the course outline was clear to you people, right? So, yes, this is the outline of the course, and this is the way we solve the problems and identify the solutions for every problem. I hope this is clear. Now, let me stop here, and now we are open for questions. Feel free to ask your questions with respect to content, anything, whatever you wanted to. Feel free to ask your questions now, guys. If you are hesitant to talk, ask in the chat. Don't even worry. I hope the contents and all these things are clear. Okay, no questions, or are you hesitant to ask? Akash, Apurva, Bhairavi. Okay, how many days will be taken to complete, sir? We'll be largely taking 2.5 to 3 months, guys. Every day we'll be taking 1 hour of session, 1 hour session, and we'll also provide assessments and all those stuff. And course will be 2.5 months to 3 months duration one. Guru, Kalyan, Neha, Purnima, unmute or ask your questions. I hope this, the content wise and the delivery of the course curriculum and also the way we will be delivering the content. I hope those things are clear to you people. Shiv, Suresh. Okay. Thank you, Suresh. Swati, Purnima, Neha, Kalyan, Bhairavi. Okay, nice. Great. If this is nice and good, I hope if you have no questions, that is completely fine and it's great that we are very clear about what we are discussing. So join the tomorrow session as well, the same time, 8 o'clock. And our team will be contacting you with respect to the course fees and also duration and all those details. Answer the call and register yourself for this course. And let's begin the coding sessions from tomorrow. Any questions, feel free to ask here. If not, feel free to drop off from the call, guys. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you, Suresh. Thank you.